Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Triple N Media. I am Dr. Nik Nikam, and we have a special program today, and we are going to be talking about the World Telangana Convention, which is going to be happening at the George R. Brown Convention Center on June 29th, 30th, and July 1st, 2018. And in conjunction with the World Telangana Convention, they are also planning on having a literary segment. And to talk about the literary segment, we have three special guests here. Right next to me is Indira, and next to her is Shravan, and next to Shravan is Sudesh. Welcome to Triple N Media, and just give us a one-sentence introduction about yourselves, and we'll talk about the more important topic, and that is the literary segment of the World Telangana Convention.
Namaskaram andarki. Na peru Indira Cheruvu. I am one of the executive committee members of Houston Telugu Cultural Association. I am the literary coordinator in the committee. I have been part of the Houston Telugu Association, Telugu Badi also for the past 7 years.
Namaskaram Andi. Na peru Shravan. I have been the chair of the World Telangana Convention literary track. We are here to talk today about the literary track and all the activities around it.
Namaste. Thank you, Mr. Nikam.
Sure.
My name is Sudesh Pillutla. I've been a Houstonian for the last 26 years. Privileged to be in the literary committee of World Telangana Conference. So we are going to go and talk about literature.
Ladies and gentlemen, you have been watching a Triple N Media. I am Dr. Nik Nikam, and all our programs are video streamed through YouTube channel Nik Nikam, and please do subscribe to our YouTube channel. We also have a NANO News Network Facebook page where we bring you the latest news, views and opinions from around the world. And today we are talking about the World Telangana Convention, which is going to be happening on June 29th, 30th and July 1st at the George R. Brown Convention Center. And before we go into all the literary activities and functions that you're going to be having at the George R. Brown Convention, let's start off with first the history of Telangana, the language and the culture, so that we can introduce to people the great state of Telangana, and especially the language Telugu and the history of the states.
Thank you, Dr. Nikam, for giving us an opportunity to talk about Telangana and the program that's coming up. And I want to share with you about the history. We want to reach out to the global Telugu community to invite you to this event. So as many of our listeners know, Telangana is a newly formed state in India. However, the culture and the tradition go way back to 400 BCE. Mm-hmm. And this is time when Chandragupta, the Gupta dynasty was there. And then later on, in a more recent times, we know about the Kakatiya dynasty, which is very prominent in 10,083. And then after that, Vijayanagara dynasty, an empire came in. And then the Golconda Sultans came in more towards the 1500s and the 1600s. Now, in the colonial British era, when the feudalism was rampant, there was a peasant uprising, which was in the mid-1900s, like 1950s. So you'll see that a culture, it is probably either one of the oldest in India, without a break. So Telugu language is our mother tongue. So from a Telangana state, as a distinct language, right? Telugu has been there for about 2,000 years. It has a rich classical flavor, and it in Telangana particularly, it acquired a little bit of Islamic nuances because of the Nizams, yeah. And due to the peasant uprising, it also acquired a lot of folklore and folkish language, right? So, and then some of that also came from Marathas, a few nuances that come from there. So, as a language, it assimilated many different words and vocabulary into it, and it has become, rich over time.
I see. Yeah.
So, one of the things is that one of the earliest great poets of the Telugu language is Palakurti Somanathudu, and he's a well-known poet. in the Kakatiya kingdom, and then he pioneered this couplets genre of the literary. Another most revered poet was Bammira Potana, and he's from the Bammira village, and he lived around the 1450. And one of the best, one of the most important contributions is the Bhagavatam that he has written into translated into Telugu. And Potana's poetry and devotion is unparalleled. So, in the last 1,000 years, Telangana has produced some great poets. One of the most recent poet and writer is Dr. C. Narayan Reddy garu. And famously known, we all know him as Sinare, and he passed away last year. He hailed from the Karimnagar district in Telangana, and he went to the Osmania University, and his medium of instruction was Urdu, as Telugu was not available during that time, during the Nizam time. So in spite of that, he mastered Telugu and got his PhD in Telugu, and then became a Telugu professor. Later on, really throughout his life, he made so many different contributions from, whether it is poems, songs in Telugu movie industry, and so many different things. And he got, I think one of the highest awards that he got was the Gnanpith Award, and then the Sahitya Academy Award, and he got that for the Gnanpith Award. He got for a book called Vishwambara, and it is a very famous and very well known in the literary circles. And then he also got the Kala Prapurna Award, and then he early got the Padma Shri in 1977, Padma Bhushan in 1992 from Government of India. And then not only he was a literary person, but he also served the country as a MP, Rajya Sabha MP also. So this conference, this convention, we are going to dedicate to Dr. Sinare, and as a result, you will see a lot of focus on different programs on Dr. Sinare Reddy.
That's fascinating. Ladies and gentlemen, you have been watching a Triple N Media. I am Dr. Nik Nikam, and all our programs are video streamed through our YouTube channel, where we have more than 1,200 videos accenting our experience here in the United States. And please do subscribe to our YouTube channel. We also have a Facebook page, which is NANO News Network, where we bring you the latest news, views, and opinions. So now let's talk about all the different kinds of literary programs that you plan to bring to the World Telangana Convention in June and July.
Right. Like Shravan was saying, Telugu as a language has a tremendous classical base. Every language is great. Telugu and few more languages in India have taken the metrical poetry from Sanskrit and added their own flavor of meters, and with meters and the metrical poetry, great works have been written. So Telugu language is very rich in metrical poetry, and it adds so much of flavor and beauty to any story you want to tell. So we want to highlight in our conference for 2 days the beauty of Telugu language, classical Telugu language, and the poetry and the prose, everything it brings up. Within that, in Telugu and probably Kannada also, and of course Sanskrit, there is a unique performance. It's called Avadhanam. Okay?
What's the meaning of Avadhanam?
It's famously known as Astavadhanam. Ashta means 8. And Avadhanam. Avadhanam primarily means divided attention. Okay? It's a concentration and attention and memory. So a person who wants to do Avadhanam has to have tremendous memory. Okay? And he will be disturbed by 8 people simultaneously.
Distracting.
They are distracting him, and he has to remember everything. And it's very classical in nature, yet very entertaining. So in each segment, there will be one person who will be deliberately talking unnecessary trivia just to distract him, while others are given him very serious
Instructions.
metrical question. So
Yes.
what will happen is, in some they say, write a poem by mixing modern, let's say, Trump
Yes.
and Lord Krishna,
Mhm.
okay, in a particular meter. By the way, you cannot use this particular syllable
I
in
see.
this particular position.
Mm.
So they give this very constraint.
It's almost like the Indian classical music. You can use certain notations going up. You can't
Right.
use certain notations coming down,
Similar like
and only certain notes have to be in that raga or something
Right.
like that.
So they give all this construct and constraints,
Yeah.
and the avadhani has to perform that. While he was doing it, somebody is disturbing him. Somebody could be ringing a bell,
Oh,
and he has to remember all of them. And there are 8 different types of questioning happening. One is he has to remember any poem from any of the great works.
I see.
So a typical avadhani, a great avadhani, may have to memorize 250,000 poems.
So he has to be a super literary scholar.
Right. And
Not only
not
think
only-
on the moment, but also have memorized more or
Right.
less.
He has to, it's a test on the caliber of your memory,
Yes.
your scholarship, your concentration,
Concentration.
your ready wit, and your improvisation. All of them put together, he has to demonstrate, and it's happening. It takes about 3 to 4 hours.
I see, yeah.
All this to happen, and it's extremely entertaining. Through your medium, I would like to impress upon our community,
Sure.
especially parents. Do bring your kids. This
Yes.
is a quintessential a pinnacle of any language, Telugu, and your kids will be proud of the language, and they will be inspired to learn poetry and metrical poetry. So this is a unique feature, and it has a pride of a place in any of conferences, and we want to do that.
Yeah, see, not only you're talking about knowledge and all these things, but it teaches a lot of things about concentration and focus,
Right.
so that you're not going to be distracted. But if you look at kids today, they are playing on their smart devices, they're playing music, and they think they can study. But I don't know if they are as good as your avadhanis.
Right, and also the dedication they have to put to learn everything in the particular area. So this will be a very unique feature. It will probably happen on Saturday, and we would like everybody to come and be present there. We are going to assemble 8 great stalwarts in this area. So even the questionnaires have to know.
Even they are sort of super literary
They have to be
scholars.
They are literary, right? They have to know the rules and how to put a break in his flow so that he will not be able to finish it properly.
I see.
So they have to know. So it will be an exercise in scholarship. So and actually people have done Ashtavadhanam is very popular, and it's doable in a conference like this. They have done Sahasravadhanam.
I see.
1,000 people.
Oh, I
So
see.
imagine 1,000 people simultaneously asking. It will go for days, okay? And it tests your capacity or memory. So there were only handful of people
Yeah.
who can do this, and one of the handful is a great personality named Sri Garikapati Narasimharao garu. He is very well known. Almost every Telugu person would know his name. He is always on every TV channel, and we are very happy to announce that he is agreed to come here and be our guest. So he will be doing an avadhanam, and that will be a scene to behold.
This is beautiful because the kids who are growing up in America, they get to see this rich cultural heritage that we have, which has transcended for generations.
Right.
Ladies and gentlemen, you are watching the Triple N Media. I am Dr. Nik Nikam, and we are talking about the World Telangana Convention, which is going to be happening at the George R. Brown Convention Center on June 29th to 30th and July 1st, 2018. And we are talking about the literary segment of the World Telangana Convention. Okay, let's talk about some of the other highlights that you're going to be having from the literary segment.
Right. As Shravan mentioned, because of the peasants' uprising and the farming background of the language, the folk music and Telangana language are synonymous. So folk music is integral to Telangana culture. We have great people starting from 1950s who are actually activists against the feudal society. They have protested. Some of them have gone to jails, and some of them actually inspired people through their poetry and singing. So one of them, who is a modern or current contemporary, is a great man called Gorete Venkanna, and we are very happy to inform the public that he's agreed to come here, and he will be an exciting personality. He can inspire people through his poetry and singing. I'm sure anybody who listens to him will get goosebumps.
Fascinating. Ladies and gentlemen, we are talking about the World Telangana Convention, which is going to be happening at the George R. Brown Convention Center on June 29th to 30th and July 1st, 2018. And we are talking about the literary segment of the World Telangana Convention. You know, when we come from India, we bring so much rich culture and heritage and all these things. And our new generation invariably get rubbed off on some of these new culture and heritage, and that we see that in temples and I was there just for the Yugati function, and we saw a whole spectrum of our rich culture displayed by the young generation, the children. So maybe I should ask Indra about what about all these young children who are growing up in this country? You know, there may be a great poet or somebody who can write fantastic essays. Do we have anything interesting to this young generation who will be coming to the convention?
Yes, Mr. Nikam, that's very true. That's very true. What you have told about the younger generation here, the kids here, they are very talented. And then వాళ్ళు పద్య పారాయణంలో కానీ నాటకాలు నృత్యాలు డ్రామా వేయటంలో కానీ they are very talented, and we see their talent in every occasion on the stage. And then keeping them in mind, we are going to conduct poetry competition for the kids, and then that will be the last date for registering will be May 15th, and then you can go to artaconvention.org and go to the literary section, and then you can contact any of the literary group to know more details about the poetry competition. Also, we are going to conduct essay writing competition, vyasarachana poti, pillalaki peddalaki andariki, for both the kids, for the youth, and for all the adults also. And that will be very interesting, and we will be sending the competition topics also very soon. Please register, and parents, please encourage all your kids to take part in the poetry competition and also in the essay writing competition. At the same time, we are planning to conduct a poster competition, poster creating competition. We are planning to encourage kids to make posters about anything connected to Telugu literature, literary works, or anything connected to Telugu literature. Ante kada Sudesh garu?
Yes, and
you know, when you talk about Telugu, I guess it spans through 2 different states now. It used to be one before.
That is very accurate, and that's one thing I wanted to bring is, you know, we say this is World Telangana Convention, but you know the common thread is Telugu, and it belongs to everybody. And so you know we are trying to bring everybody together in this, so that all Telugu people can enjoy the poetry, the literary track, and all activities around this.
Absolutely. And go ahead, you were saying.
And about this, and one more thing we are planning to conduct is Swiya Rachanalu, one's own writings. Anybody can come up with their own writings, either in poetry or kavitalu or any essays, vyasarachana, anybody can submit their own writings, and that will be a great attraction to everybody. Swiya Rachana Poti, or I mean, I don't mean like Swiya Rachana Poti, and anybody can. Sudesh garu, Swiya Rachanalu oka segment vere undi kada?
Right. So we will have a segment dedicated for Swiya Rachanalu. So anybody wants to recite a poem or a small passage, you can please come to the convention and participate in that. It will be always one of the most entertaining segment is Sri Rachanalu, where people, we will be surprised that we have such a great talent locally
here,
and who can compete internationally, and they're all among us, and this is a very good forum to showcase their talent.
When we are talking about poetry or prose, we are talking about the original creation of the young generation. Doesn't have to be young generation. There could be my generation or your generation.
People from here. Yes, exactly.
Yeah. So it's not like just reciting a movie song.
No, it's not reciting an existing poem. It is their own creation.
Yeah.
They come and share with us in front of everybody.
Right. So we have two segments. I want to make sure it's clear.
That's right.
There is one that is kids poem recital.
Yes.
Which they can recite existing poems from our literature.
That's good. Yeah.
But for adults, the poem is where they can bring their own poems if they are writing, and they're happy to share with us. And we will publish all these details on the website soon, so that they can submit the entries ahead of time, and the selected people will be contacted, and we'll make sure that we have some opportunity for the local talent.
Let's give out the contact information for those who might be interested in entering into one of these competitions or knowing more about the literary segment.
Yes. So artaconvention.org is the main website that you can go to, where you can get a lot of different information. And once you go there, there is a literary. Each committee has their own section, and so please go to the literary section, and in there you will see the members, and you can pick any one of us and ask the questions. These particular competitions we were talking about, we will publish them as part of events in the website. So that you can submit from right there. So that's what we're going to do.
I'd like to mention we will have one segment, because this event is dedicated to Dr. Singireddy Narayan Reddy. There will be a panel discussion on his work, dedicated for his work. So, like Shavan said, he was a multifaceted man. He did a lot of work on pure literature, and he wrote songs for 3,000 songs for film music. So we would like to discuss the influence of his work on the modern poetry. So there will be one segment.
Poetry and also culture.
Culture, poetry, prose, and everything. He has written a lot of great novels and books, and characters he built. So we would like to dedicate this event. So we would like to have a panel discussion on his work. So if anybody interested and who know more about Dr. Narayan Reddy can contact us and be a guest in the panel discussion. So that will be very exciting.
That's fascinating. Ladies and gentlemen, you have been watching a Triple N Media. I am Dr. Nik Nikam, and we are talking about the World Telangana Convention, which is going to be happening at the George R. Brown Convention Center on June 29th to 30th and July 1st. We have been covering a lot of events related to the World Convention. We talked about the Raite Raja, and we talked about the sports, which is going to be a spectacular event happening. And now we are talking about the cultural events, which is also important. We'll also be talking about, of course, entertainment and music and dance and all these things.
Sure,
Gentlemen and Indra, thank you very much for being on Triple N Media. And ladies and gentlemen, please do subscribe to our YouTube channel. And thank you. We'll see you next time.
Thank you, Dr. Nikam.
Thank you, Dr. Nikam. Thank you, Dr. Nikam.